I'm Samantha Funkhauser. I am the precision specialist for Luckey Farmers, and I'm going to tell you how we create a soil sample job and the process of creating it, taking it, and turning it into a prescription. So when we want to take a soil sampling job, we start with creating it on AgWorld. To create a new soil sample job, we're going to select our job type, which the most common is going to be a grid sample, and you're going to select the season that the results are going to be used for, in this case 2021. You will then move on to choose your field. I'm going to choose one of our test fields. Your collector company and user are going to be whoever is going to be taking that soil sample. You also want to select a collection date. This tells us our grid size of 2.5 acres. We are estimated 62 samples for this particular field. We're going to choose our lab. You can set your sampling depth and also your lab test. And then we hit create one sampling job. It's going to show up in our queue of soil samples as ready to collect. Once a sample is ready to collect, we assign it to a sampler, and it shows up on that sampler's iPad. The process of taking the soil sample would be the sampler would sync their iPad, they would set their grid, and they would scan their first bag to fill with the soil. We have stickers made and we put on each and every one of our soil sampling bags. They scan each one. The point is then geo-referenced in that field, and once they have all of their bags filled, they send them to the lab. Once they get to the lab, they will scan that same barcode. It'll tell them how many samples to expect, and then they run their results and everything gets submitted back to AgWorld in a very seamless process. When the salesmen want to create a prescription, they will be able to take that soil sample information, run a recommendation, be able to put in what crop, what product they need to use, and from there we have a prescription that's ready for application.
Hello, my name is Bernie Blasius. I'm an agronomist for Luckey Farmers. Here to talk about the grid sampling. For me, grid sampling starts off with a soil sample. We find out where the pH is at, where the soil test readings are at, and from there we kind of start to build a program, put it together. I like to go out and grid sample to get to know where my starting point is, and from there then I can see if there's any anomalies or things that we need to go through and fix. To do that, I like to find out exactly where my starting points are at, if there's different soil types or soil regions in the soil that we need to manage separately to create a management zone or to start out with the grid sample points. I like to know what the last crop was, what the current crop's going to be, a little bit about the farmer history, so when I start putting a program together, I can find out if we need to have a build program or if we're just doing a maintenance program. Also, what the farmer does for crop rotations, if he's a 3-crop, 4-crop, and that way we can kind of build a program to know where his pH needs to be, if we need to use lime or gypsum in the program to fix our calcium magnesium ratios, them types of programs. Also, it's nice to know what the farmer wants to have as far as cover crops, manure, or starter fertilizer in the program, so I can add them in to the nutrient program. Lime and gypsum are products we use to alter the pH, but we also use them to add calcium back, which also directly affects what nutrient availability is. It's also nice to know how the farmer is going to place the fertilizer, if he's going to do strip till, bands, or if we're going to be broadcasting. This helps us to figure out where we're going to place the micronutrients, whether it be in the starter program, foliars, or if we're going to be adding them in with our garage applications. The biggest thing is, I guess, for me is to know what the farmer's expectations are for yields. That determines how much fertilizer we're going to put on and what his needs are going to be. Variable rate saves us a lot of lime a lot of times, because rather than applying the whole field, you're applying it in the area where it's needed. The same thing with gypsum, which also increases the availability of our nutrients, so we don't have to apply as much fertilizer today as what we did in the past, allowing us to save the farmer some money by applying where it's needed and not where it's not needed. Also figuring out what areas need fertilizer. Sometimes we have a tree line or something, they're not as productive, so we don't need to put as much fertilizer in them areas. Used to be we just put it all on the whole field. Now we apply it where our growing points are, where we produce the most. It also allows us to add setbacks for areas where we don't apply because of runoff and those type of regions where we don't want fertilizer to move out of where our soil profile is. Micronutrients today, we run micro boxes at machines, so we can place them in with it, and we can set those as straight applications, where we can variable rate our MAP and our potash. We didn't have that technology 10 years ago, but today we can better utilize what we're doing. For me, it also allows me the opportunity to micromanage those areas too, where we may have a field that is lower in sulfur or lower in zinc. Now we can apply a little bit more there and increase our fertility, and henceforth increase the yield for the grower. But the bottom line is, a yield goal is the starting point once you get your soil test. We use Ag World for this, and all of our recs are set for tri-state recommendations. So henceforth, when you roll into the government programs, it allows us the opportunity to seamlessly move it right into that. And we don't have the issues of trying to go back and retrofit those to fit our government programs or what the farmers' needs are.
Hello, I'm Dean Anstead, the Agronomy Operations Manager here at Luckey Farmers. Some of my responsibilities include, for dry spread and fertilizer in the full season, is to take the orders from Ag World after the sales staff has written the orders and basically assign them to the operators, and then also assign them to the asset that's going to do the job. Then also, one of my areas of responsibility is to check the forecast before we go to the field, making sure that we don't have a forecast predicting that we're at 50% chance of exceeding 1 inch of precipitation in a 12-hour period. And then also we have to check the winds and make sure that we don't have excessive winds, for depending on the type of machine that we're applying with for that day.
My name is Jim Meek. I work for Luckey Farmers, and I'm in charge of the fertilizer plant. What I do is I get a order in through Ag World. I look up on Ag World, see if there's any orders come in. We go to view, schedule view. We have several operators that do nothing but fertilizer. I would pull up one of their names. I would click on this, and then it will tell me what the order is, and then I will come over here. I will write the order. Comes down, it has all my products. I will put each product individually and how much pounds I want. There we go. Now we would hit save and new. We come back to this top screen. We'd look up the gentleman that we just made the order for, which was Gary Appling. We would click on it. We would come to what he's going to get. We would hit load, and then my machine out front would load the machine, would load in the auger and mix everything up. And then from there it would go in the leg and go up to the holding bin. And when the operator gets here or the truck gets here, we push load, and it puts the load inside either the 3-wheel machine or the truck and then the product will go away.
I'm Kevin with Luckey Farmers. I run the air machine out of Lindsay, Greytown, Oak Harbor area, and I've been doing this for 21 years now, so I'm pretty used to doing it. But when I get my orders through Ag World from the coordinator and stuff, they usually pop up over here, but then all the pins will show up on this side of where all my jobs are. So in the morning when I start out, I can see where all my jobs are and where I want to start. And if I leave Lindsay here, I will make one complete big circle around, and if I end the night I end up at a farmer's field or farm or whatever, I'll let the machine sit there, and then we'll start there in the morning and kind of make a big circle of where I'm going. And but yeah, all my orders will show up here, and that's how I pick and choose where they are. And usually before I start the field, I will look at the weather and see your wind speed, way its wind is blowing, and things like that. So, but that's done completed. I'll hit actual up here, and then I'll have my products and everything, the wind, weather, and everything else will be on there. So I go in and I complete the work order, and then when I'm done, I hit actual, and it sends it right to whoever bills it out here at Luckey Farmers.
Hi, my name is Andrew Gladden. I am the Director of Technology here at Luckey Farmers. And what I want to talk to you guys about is our software company, Ag World. We really took a look at the process we had from soil sampling to variable rate application. We utilize a software called Ag World. Ag World is our agronomy data management system. It is grower-centric software, meaning the grower works inside the software along with our applicators, our CCAs, our agronomists, our operations people. It's one database for the grower and the retailer, and everybody working together. It gathers field level data, it combines that field level data, it's able to analyze crop and farm and field level data, and we're able to utilize current data for variable rate application. So Ag World we consider our true source of data here at Luckey Farmers. It is mapping, soil sampling, precision, workflow, and reporting and benchmarking. So we were looking for a way to streamline the sampling process, simplify our work order execution, utilize current data for recommendations, all while meeting 4R requirements. Luckey Farmers consolidated our agronomy facilities down to 3. All 3 of our agronomy facilities are 4R certified. The 4R requirements that we need to meet pertaining to soil samples are: soil tests are conducted at least once every 4 years from an area no larger than 25 acres. Soil tests include a minimum of organic matter, phosphorus, potassium, pH, and CDC. And the nutrient service provider maintains a record related to soil tests for growers over a 2-cycle period. That's 2 soil tests over 8-year period. And variable rate technology is used to apply nutrients. In Ag World, we have a great spot in our precision that shows when a field was last sampled. We're able to quickly filter that down and only show fields that don't have samples on them that are older than 4 years. Remember, we can't make a recommendation on a soil sample older than 4 years. We can quickly from there list the fields, filter them out, create a sampling job, and then once that sampling job is done, we can apply it to a prescription. The process that we go through is to create the sampling job, the prescription's created, the salesman works with the grower, then the operations manager assigns it, it gets loaded out, and then gets applied. We're able to, once that prescription is created, we're able to adjust that prescription. We can take from the high rates, take from the low rates. We can adjust it down if a grower doesn't want to apply that much fertilizer. the grower can approve it, and we can convert it right to a work order. And this is our work order. The prescriptions are attached to the work order with the controller files, and from our software we can send it directly to our machines with one of these either John Deere Operations Center, Slingshot, or using the ScanDisk API. So our soil sampling process really started with, we needed to verify current soil samples. We created those soil samples, and then we automatically process that for variable rate prescription. Samples are then taken, sent to the lab. Data from them sampling jobs are submitted to the lab via Modus data, so they already have it. Our soil samples are barcoded. The lab receives that barcode, and they have all the data that go with it. Then the lab completes the analysis. They send it back to us, Modus data, and then the data from the lab returns to AgWorld. Data is automatically processed for precision, and then the RX files are sent to the machine via our ScanDisk API. Our soil sampling process, the old process used to take us 7 to 10 days from soil sampling to getting the fertilizer applied to the field. Our new process is 3 to 5 days, all because of the automation that we have inside of our AgWorld software.